Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2020 Summer Promotion Tournament. I'm Atlas, joined by the Valdanalist once again for Griffin taking on SEORABEOL Gaming. This is really difficult to predict because SEORABEOL Gaming were fantastic in Challenger. They have a lot of names that you guys will probably remember. Bottom side of the map, of course, Sangyun, previously from Hanwha Life Esports. Nova down there alongside him as well, who I believe was on Afrika Freaks. Before that, Tal on the top side.
I think.
Nova for Jinner.
Yeah.
For some reason, the amount of support subs for Afrika confuses me a lot of the time. But Tal, of course, used to play for SKT back in the day, and Kakao makes his way back in, with the only name you may not recognize being Dan Chung in the mid lane.
Dan Chung.
The absolute beast. Actually played for Game Talents over in China, played for Snake for a little while as well, and was otherwise here in Challenger, and previously played for Team Dynamics before moving over to SEORABEOL Gaming about 4 months ago. So interesting to see what he can come up with up against Yukal there in the mid lane, I assume, for Griffin. Still yet to see what the rosters are going to be, but very excited to see what is going to happen here in this match, because it could be a really tough one for Griffin. But Griffin won 3 out of their last 4 matches in the LCK, one of them being against Damwon, the other, APK, also able to take down Hanwha Life. So there is at least some momentum here for Griffin moving into this match.
Yeah, for sure. I think that SEORABEOL Gaming is going to win.
Me too.
Just coming into this one, but absolutely Griffin, if they turn things around with Wadid now into the support role, perhaps they could make it work and pull off a win here, but their season has been a little bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
As you can see, 5-13, they were in 10th place, and they're calling on Wadid to try to save them, the caster pro player extraordinaire.
Their European import.
Yes.
There we go. Of course, started his career over in Europe. Also played for G2 for a time. You guys know Wadid. Of course, he was on this broadcast. And now I'm really sad that he's now a pro player again. As he was talking about on this broadcast, the fact that he wanted to get back into playing pro. So huge congratulations for Wadid, but I'm sad that he can't be on our caster desk anymore. As this is going to be your SEORABEOL Gaming lineup. As
Is the player named Gone?
Yeah, and he's gone.
He's
it's Dan Chung that's going to be playing. Dan Chung, formerly Mata, which is spicy sauce from China. Also, his name used to be Fiesta well back in the day. So he's been playing for a really long time. I think he debuted in about 2017, earlier than that. So he's been playing for a very long time. This is certainly a team full of youngs. There's a lot of older gentlemen players in this squad, and of course it only takes a glance at Kakao to tell you exactly that.
Yeah, so taking a look at some of the points of the match, back to promotion after 2018 Summer 2 years ago, which is where, of course, Griffin were, and they're up against the Challengers Korea #1 SEORABEOL, Mr. Famous since the team's foundation. I'm not sure exactly what
I don't really know what that means.
Not the career we expect to see here. Former Worlds players in Griffin versus former LCK players in SEORABEOL, whose experience will show up better.
And I love this. The Kakao, key member to promote APK to the LCK, of course, was on APK before Flawless joined the roster. Then moves to SEORABEOL Gaming, but he was the one that got him in there, so we'll see whether he can do it again. 10 days since Wadid joined Griffin, and he's going to be playing here today. So just shows that iRove wasn't exactly what they were looking for.
No. And can he be the relief pitcher for Griffin? It's kind of funny because baseball is just starting up here now in Korea after the COVID-19 delay. As we will see, Wadid in full caps, by the way. He changed his name. He's coming in strong.
He wants everyone to know that he's here, Brendan Valdez. That's exactly right. So Sword will be starting topside, though. That is the only other part of this roster that we do get confused about. And I believe it was Antara that was playing last time around. I'll have to double check. No, I believe Sword did play their last match, but they were favoring Antara. I think their performances were looking better, but Sword didn't have a terrible last match. And this is going to be your lineup for SEORABEOL Gaming. Tal on the top side of the map, of course, the man named after Trundle himself, but Kakao is going to be playing the Trundle. You best believe it. As Dan Chung in that mid lane, and Sangyun and Nova on the bottom side of the map. So sad to see Sangyun and Ki taken away from one another. But Nova was decent on Jin Air back in when he was in the LCK.
Yeah, not bad. And I think a lot of the time when you play with Sangyun, you're probably going to get carried anyway. So
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of his blushes will be spared, and Sangyun will be doing a nice amount of carrying for this team, no doubt. As I say that, we are going to take a look here at the players, the key players, that is. Of course, the match history will be heavily favored towards Viper from last year.
And the year before.
Yeah, and the year before. But this is a new playing field now. It's 2020, and Viper's in promotions again.
He is, and you can see the win rates looking a lot better for Sangyun. This is a very weird match history situation, much like we spoke about in our previous series, because of course, SEORABEOL Gaming did a lot of winning, and Griffin didn't do a lot of winning whatsoever. But it was all about Viper when they did, right?
Yes.
And so looking forward to seeing whether Viper can put on those carry pants once again, and whether it's going to be enough to take down Sangyun and Nova down there, because they have been mixing up some of those dark technologies here for SEORABEOL Gaming. They have been coming up with some weird and wonderful compositions, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have planned for Viper and the gang here in their first match in LoL Park. It makes me really happy that Sangyun's back, because he's always been such a charismatic guy that the LCK feels less happy without him, you know?
It's true. I've missed him as well, and we'll see if he can make it into LCK. Of course, it's not going to be decided today.
Nope.
But we'll see if he can put himself in a good spot. And interestingly enough, now that Team Dynamics has won against Sandbox, if SEORABEOL Gaming win, that means absolutely one LCK team will be leaving, at least. So definitely a bit on the line here, as Wadid he's in a
sleeping
trance.
And talking to himself.
He's in a trance over there. Ucal shot him a look like,
don't first pick Aatrox.
What's going on?
Don't first pick Aatrox. No, we're not first picking Aatrox.
It really looks like he's in a trance. Like
he's in a real Zen
state
right
seance
now. Yeah.
Or something.
Have we checked the keyboard is not a Ouija board instead?
Don't summon any, demons here to the LCK.
Yes, please don't.
That would be a little bit scary as, well.
Yeah. Tal and Nova making their way back in. Oh no, docks and bans.
Oh no. Not again.
Still late. Wait, still late. Never mind. That's a sponsor. That's not a premonition.
Still late.
Yeah.
Sangyun's here. The headsets are on.
And I believe we're getting very, very close to Champions League for game number 1. And I don't expect too much sinning. I actually feel like we had our red teams in our first match. And now we're going to be moving to our more blue-centric squads. As SEORABEOL Gaming have been playing around with a lot of scaling drafts, but Griffin are known to only really play for the later stages of the game. And there is Tarzan on your screen right here. Will he be the king of the jungle or the George this time around up against Kakao?
Yep, jungle matchup, pretty interesting. Kakao, as we mentioned before, he helped APK make it into the LCK, but he wasn't the most impressive player on that lineup by any means. So we'll have to see if, coming back to promotions, if he can help another team promote in
the promo contractor himself is Kakao. Make sure if you are a former member of the OGN Legion, you get your cackles in chat, boys and girls. As scoping out Sword, and let's see what Griffin are going to be banning away first as we get into Champion Select. The Elise taken off the board. And SEORABEOL Gaming on our red side will be able to do some counter picking here. So see what they're going to be denying as the Varus is taken off the board. I think we'll see this ban all day.
Yeah, teams don't really like Varus anymore. You were talking about, actually, Dan Chung. He is not necessarily the carry of the team, but his Galio did look great, and so they are going to ban that away right from the get-go. Aatrox, also a big pick here for Tal, and so they will take that one off the board.
And Tal's Trundle is still available if he wants to play it, but of course not a top lane champion anymore, unfortunately. It's now the final ban. What is it going to be? 80 carries basically wide open with only the Varus being taken off the board. Felios and Callista standing out in my mind, but Graves is going to be the pickup.
Yeah. Good old Graves. Slowly but surely climbing that priority list.
And we have to remember, this is Tarzan's Trundle as well. He was undefeated on this champion until the start of this year. And then he was defeated on everything because Griffin didn't do very much winning.
No Lee Sin, please.
Yes, please. Goodness gracious me, don't play Lee Sin. But that is an understandable first lock-in here for Griffin. But SEORABEOL Gaming must have known that this was going to happen. And we'll see what their answer is going to be. As the Aphelios would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Aphelios was Sangyun's second most played behind Misfortune. She played 17 games of.
Yeah. That's a lot of Misfortune. It's Dan Chung on the Syndra. We saw Syndra banned away in our first 2 games of the day. First time that we've had her available to be played. And talking about Misfortune that you were mentioning earlier on, she is going to be locked away for Viper. And we'll see how this Wiper bottom lane is going to do here for Griffin. Wiper. Or do you like Vidid? You like Vidid better? I think Wiper's
I think
way
Wiper's
better.
good.
Yeah, it's real good.
We can go with Wiper. Dan Chung, what are you going to pick for your team? Will it be the support? Yes, it will. As Braum is going to come out here as a counter to the Ornn. And even the bullet time from the Misfortune, so I don't mind it too much here.
Yep. Pretty standard stuff so far, as now we're looking at the ban list. See what that is going to turn into. Is Sword getting his Ornn is shown that maybe SEORABEOL Gaming didn't do a lot of their homework up against Griffin. Generally, you ban that champion, and he looks like a very different player. But you can see Jace is still available. We'll see whether Griffin do decide to take that one off the board.
Yeah. Now it looks like both teams are banning at the same time. A little bit weird there. You know that you can combine Viper and what its names together to make Vader?
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah. Maybe it's a premonition. Maybe they...
Best scene
maybe they die at the
Star Wars movie.
I don't know. At the end of this LCK movie, could be the case as Sylas, another choice here, going to be taken off the board. Very common into the Ornn nowadays.
Yep, not going to be happening as, of course, Sangyun's going to be hovering the Teemo like he almost always did. Cycling through a little bit here.
Frustrated.
Just pick the dang Olaf. And that is what he's going to be picking up there for Kakao. That's what they're taking into the Trundle matchup. Certainly Griffin trying their very best to give the Ornn the best possible top lane. SEORABEOL Gaming are going to be leaving Tal's pick until last.
Yeah.
Now, what will Wadid be playing? Of course, his Bard did get banned away. He was an OTP on the Bard. Getting rid of that one, and no Yuumi to come in either, as Wadid is just on Nautilus duty. It's looking like a very standard composition out of Griffin thus far.
Yeah. Very late game oriented, of course, and a bit boring, to be honest.
Yeah, but not bad.
No, it's not bad. As Ramus top. Ramus?
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 Ramyun?
Yeah, maybe that was on my mind.
We
just had
dinner.
so much food.
Yeah. Oh my god, Tal did it! This was one of Tal's big picks when he was back in the LCK. And he's just locked away the Darius. I think here on 10-7, he recently got a nerf, but the buffs beforehand were certainly pretty decent. So let's see how this Darius goes up against the Ornn.
Darius, 2-0 on the pick is Tal. I'm not sure exactly which champions he did play it into in Challenger Series. Of course, it could have just been picked against much weaker teams at the bottom of the ladder.
True.
But now it's going to be a real test. He's up against Ornn for Sword. And Definitely not going to be as easy as the Challenger Series. The bows come out.
I just find it so crazy that
Is
we
he
do have...
Kage or Cage?
I just call him Cage.
Cage, okay.
Yeah. He's been around the scene for a while, was of course formerly BBQ Oliver's coach. In fact, this whole team is of the ilk of ESC Ever and BBQ Oliver's, and now is renamed to SEORABEOL Gaming, which is named after, like we mentioned earlier, the rice cake shop. And SEORABEOL is actually an ancient name of a place in Korea.
Yeah, it's like the old city
Yeah.
that is now Gwangju, I
Yeah.
believe.
That's some Castajun trivia for you.
Yeah.
That he told us while we were having dinner earlier on. So that's your trivia for SEORABEOL Gaming. Griffin though, they're named after a griffin, so that one's easy.
Yes.
Let's see whether they can do some winning now with good old Wadid there towards the bottom side of the map. We'll try not to be too mean to him as we get into game number 1.
Wow, look
UCal
at the
with
way
his
he's
T1
walking.
skin, I love it.
Oh,
Oh,
what a terrible Nautilus.
I think he's clicking really, really well so far.
No,
Absolutely fantastic.
His mouse positioning. Somebody get LS on the phone. Can't be having this.
You can't see his mouse positioning, Valdez.
He didn't even choose the right skin.
That's true, he definitely didn't. What Nautilus skin are you a fan of?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't.
You're supposed to say Astronautilus. Astronautilus is amazing.
Yeah. It's
He
pretty good.
floats.
The thing is, I don't play Nautilus. I don't see him very often, so
Okay.
I didn't really know many skins, to be honest. I just wanted to make fun of what it. I didn't even know what skin he was using. I just said it was wrong.
Well, Tarzan's going for the Phase Rush Trundle. Going to have him running extraordinarily quickly around this map. Every single one of his sorcery runes are focused on that movement speed, as we did. I don't know whether he spotted that ward going down, but now SEORABEOL Gaming know exactly where the Griffin bottom lane are. And
Is he going to miss the ward?
oh,
Wadid.
Wadid, no! Oh! See, best player in the LCK.
Attack
And he's
it!
not
Oh,
even back
man.
in there yet.
I was about to lose my mind if I didn't attack that. Good job, Wadid.
Well, Tal is already zoning sword away from the first minions. As you can
Sword
see,
just wants XP.
yeah, he did manage to get, I believe, all of the XP, but did also get a full set of stacks from this Darius. Darius, a very frustrating champion. Very difficult to build against because, of course, his passive does magic damage and does a hell of a lot of damage in the early game. So you kind of want to build magic resist, but then he's going to build mainly attack damage after that, Trinity Forces, things like that, and he's just going to smack you down. So it's just bad news bears. Laning against Darius always has been.
He's a bully. He's, you know, he's Tanner from high school.
Oh,
he's that guy.
He is the Chad, the true Chad of the top lane.
Big time Chad. And I'm sure you guys remember Tal's voice. He's got a very deep voice.
Yep.
He's the type of guy that would pick the Chad champions. So it all comes together. Sword is not going to be having a fun time.
No, he's got one. He's got one CS, as this lane is horrible. Is he on? Dan Chung already down to half health and doesn't have a lot of mana either. And Tarzan waiting in the wings. Will have the pillar available as in goes UCal, gets the flash out immediately. Dan Chung phase rushing as well. Oh god. The decimates really hurt. And I'm just remembering all of my solo queue games as the cannon minion goes wide as well. This is just
No! Wait,
awful.
why did he do that? He missed the melee minion now. Oh, he's going to get this one, though.
Yeah,
Nice.
he nailed it. The brittle, pretty strong.
Good job, Sword.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah, that was clean.
CS?
Oh,
Craig-asm?
nailed it. Yeah, that was perfect. He's still 10 CS behind, but still,
Nice.
it could have been more if he hadn't have aced all of those minions.
That was some good CSing. Gotta hand it to him. And now he's found a little position here in the brush.
A little cubby.
Yeah.
Little brush cubby there, trying to sneak himself some EXP. He's not allowed to go out and farm, really, unless he has his Q available. Tal just must be a very intimidating guy.
Yeah.
Because right now, Sword is very intimidated.
At least he was able to pick up those 2 melee minions to start. Yeah, let's get back down to the bottom lane. I want to see more Wadu.
Yeah.
Wow,
Need to make sure
didn't even hook.
Yeah, it didn't hook. And he missed it, because every hook you don't take is a missed hook.
Yes. Yeah, sounds
more.
right.
Yeah. You miss every hook you don't throw. You know? That's why you just got to keep that thing on cooldown.
What is it? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah, straight up.
Wayne Gretzky. I'm supposed to be the hockey guy. Taking my quotes away.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Yeah. I don't even know anything about hockey, actually.
Yeah, it's from the great one. Good old Wayne.
I do, of course, know who Wayne Gretzky is. I just don't know anything about hockey otherwise.
You don't play a lot of hockey?
I used to play roller hockey.
Oh, yeah, you're the rollerblader.
Yeah, but I didn't really do very much.
Did you ever share your rollerblading video to the masses?
I like to leave that part of my story as a bit of a secret.
Oh.
Yeah. And now...
well, too late for that.
Yeah, now it's been revealed to quite a few people here on the internet.
It's cool. It's not like something to be embarrassed about.
I'm not embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
I just don't need to talk about it, you know? Unless we have a lull state, in which case we absolutely can. I actually bought new rollerblades recently. I'm very excited. They came missing a buckle, so I needed to call the shop, and it's in the UK, and they're sending me a new buckle. Dan Chung might need a new lease on life after this. Does get a decent snap. The first hook that Wadid throws lands true. And first blood goes to Griffin. Oh my god, just give him the MVP right now. Wadid, just true mastermind of that entire play.
Wow, Wadid is so good.
Wow, did.
Now I understand why he quit casting and went back to playing.
Yeah, because he's just the best player in the universe.
Perfect timing on the roam. Could not have been better. But yeah, pretty straightforward. I mean, they burned the flash before, and Dan Chung was way too far up the lane. Like, that is the kind of thing that an experienced player, like you'll see Faker do this from time to time. He doesn't have his flash, so he knows he has to play safely, and he'll skip, you know, last 3 minutes. He'll just leave him because he's like, well, losing this is better than losing my life. So
and the game, yeah.
Yes, and Dan Chung he didn't watch enough of Faker streams, and you can see here, especially because there's a cannon, he's desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty straightforward gank here with the Trundle, and of course Wadid picks up level 4 as he flashes that G2 emote.
Yeah. Represent.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
Well, Tal going to be going back. Does have Ghost and Flash. Very standard stuff. Most likely heading towards his Trinity Force with that Phage. But could be the dastardly Black Cleaver as well. But I think most of our, Korean players do know that Darius likes Trinity Forces. So LS not going to be too disappointed about that one. As Wadid expertly taking these minions.
Oh, yeah.
Just really, really nice stuff. Did you see the way that he used his anchor to take down that siege minion?
He had so much finesse.
It was exemplary.
I mean, the guy is obviously at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a beat.
Nope.
Comes back in.
Yeah.
Starts last hitting siege minions.
Oh, just
perfect.
Stunningly. And of course, picking up such an eccentric champion like the Nautilus, we just never get to see this champion. So his huge brain working to full effect as SEORABEOL Gaming looking for Shelly. But you can see, of course, Woodid's made the roam over. So they're ready. Undertow going to do a fair bit of damage there, but the hook does go wide. No, that was dodged by Dan Chung. It was a perfect hook.
Sorry.
But it was a good reaction there by Dan Chung. As Sword, throws it the other way to make sure that the Unbreakable couldn't block it on the way back in. Actually, smart move there from Sword. Unfortunately, he still has it and can just block it the other way. So it was 5-head until it wasn't.
It's like, is it 3-head or is it 5-head? I don't know.
Or is it 11-head? I don't know.
Wow.
Yep, SEORABEOL Gaming now with Shelly held on to. We'll see whether Griffin do just go in for the 50-50. They should be able to do it as Tarzan gets into position. Another sentry turret goes down as it is secured by Kakao, and Griffin just watch it happen.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. They could have just had Viper down on the bottom side, CSing, getting ahead, and hanging out. But instead, they decided to lose a bunch of that gold and XP. having him out of position. They are going to put down the turret, or not the turret, the Rift Herald up at the top side. Give a bunch of that gold to Sangyun. Looks like some of it got split to Kakao.
Yeah, of course, because Shelly was under his control. But intelligently, Nova didn't move too close or anything like that, and therefore didn't steal away any of Sangyun's money. So, going to be a very strong Aphelios as we move further into this game. As SEORABEOL Gaming have moved themselves into a bit of a lane swap scenario, and Tal moves down towards the bottom side of the map to meet Viper. Cloud Drake going to be available in a minute and a half. SEORABEOL Gaming already taken the first one, which was the Ocean Drake. And we have either a Mountain or an Infernal Soul this game.
Nice.
Yeah.
No Cloud Souls so far.
I know, the dream.
We had Mountain into Ocean earlier on. And that does mean that, of course, it is now going to be Infernal, because all things are balanced as they should be.
Sword has actually caught up really nicely here. He respected the Darius in the first few levels, but now, of course, there is no Darius. He's able to get ahead by about 5 CS. See Tal actually roaming around, not sure where he's trying to go.
I just noticed Kakao CS. What is happening?
What?
Jungle. What?
He has a bounty!
What? He has the most CS in the game. By far. Did he, like, steal the mid-wave?
And he also has a warrior enchant and boots of
coming in.
lucidity.
He must have, like, caught a giant wave. There's no way that just happened naturally.
What?
What?
But, what? Alright. Well, that's fine, Kakao. Using some of his old power farming strategies.
Yeah. Funneling the
from
Olaf
yesteryear. That's insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe we didn't notice that until now.
He probably took some of Dan Chung's CS and some of Tal's CS to make that happen. I don't understand.
I mean, Dan Chung is pretty far behind, but he probably took that wave when he died to keep the pressure up. But still, an Olaf getting accelerated is good news, as Yukal not going to get stunned or anything like that. But there's the flash. Tal decides he doesn't want to flash until the very end as the bullet time comes forward. Tarzan going to lock him down. Good healing there by the Q with the Decimate, but now in goes Kakao. He's gigantic! And he's able to lock down the kill onto Wadid. That wasn't Wadid's fault. It was all just the great play from Kakao.
It's never Wadid's fault.
No,
he can't
never.
do anything wrong.
No, he can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's a good turnaround there from Kakao, flashing in, being the Chad Olaf that he is. Still has the most CS on his team, and will be picking up that second dragon for his team on the back of that.
I think it's definitely a very Chad team. He's got Chad Olaf, Chad Darius, even Brom's a bit of a Chad.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know whether Aphelios is a Chad. He's certainly more of one of the goth kids at high school, but that's fine.
I think you gotta flash that. I mean, he does get away, but if you're, if they have even just a little bit more damage, you're gonna die. The good news is that it did bait the enemy team into following you down, so maybe Tal knows a little bit more than I do about how to bait with the Darius, as he does have a ton of experience on this kind of champion.
Yep.
And did show that off right there, as he was expertly able to bait Wadid out of position. Of course, was not Wadid's fault. It was just a great play by Tal.
And Kakao as well. I mean, how are you supposed to know that he's going to throw axes at you and slow you down to high heaven? It's not Wadid's fault. It's not Wadid's fault.
You can't know that.
No, you can't.
Well, he's got stopwatch for next time, so.
Yeah, there we go. Had the perfect plan.
If he gets sinned on any further, he's got an out.
Yep.
This time around.
Redemption is in the books as Wadid moves back down towards Viper, shows his excellent ability to lock down minions for Viper. Now Tarzan gets down here as well. He's still super far behind, but that's because Kakao has been very selfishly getting his way around this jungle.
He's massive.
Yeah, and he's also going to have like 30% CDR very, very soon, as he already has his phage completed. He runs real fast, he throws a lot of axes, and he's got a warrior enchant, so he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's got the most gold in the game by far.
Yeah.
500 ahead of the next guy.
And 1,000, 1.2K ahead of Tarzan.
Yeah. Tarzan, he's, you know, he's playing Trundle. Not nearly as Chad as Olaf, although he tries to be.
Yep. As
it was actually a Mountain Soul. It wasn't the Infernal, so unfortunately things are not all balanced here tonight. And that's going to be pretty nice for the side of SEORABEOL if they can pick it up. I mean, of course, Dan Chung and Sangin probably not going to be building too many resistances. They can go into stuff like Banshee's Veil, you know, QSS, stuff like that. But the other three members are definitely going to be building some amounts of resistances, so it's not half bad if they do pick that up. Obviously, pretty excellent for the side of Griffin if they can begin to stack them. So, should be a highly contested Drake in this game.
Just hasn't been something that Griffin have focused on in almost any of their games, locking down neutral objectives. That has continued here today. They might take a turret here and there, but Dragons, Rift Heralds, nah, it's not what they're about. Not into that one. And Nova and Sangin just manning the mid lane. Viper's going to miss out on taking this turret just for now. We did moves on over, and there's another minion wave, so might just be able to grab it here. Rift Herald goes down, and we'll see whether they park it in mid lane to allow Shirley to help them to get some advantages. But Griffin will move into the lead based on all of that time taken to lock down second Herald.
They are going to summon it here, and nobody's around. Generally, it's really hard to attack Azir's turret. Yeah, what is happening?
Yeah, he has to flash. That means that they are going to get some extra time here again. The ram thrown the other direction, and another Unbreakable is going to be used.
I suppose if you do it that way, you can knock up Braum instead of not knocking out anyone up at all.
Yeah.
It's really the only benefit that I see. And because of that little play in the jungle, this is going to open up the top lane for Tal to come on in, take it down. It's going to deny as many minions as possible and deny them from Sword here. So nice little bit of a gold swing over to SEORABEOL after they do take down two turrets.
Yep, I mean, their composition is probably the more sinful one. They do have the Aphelios for late game scaling, but Viper is, of course, going to be pretty strong in that late game, as is Yukal. And Sword is going to be able to give everyone ornaments, and it looks like he hasn't been shut down in any way. So total damage dealt, almost 1,000 damage dealt by the Darius. Almost.
Yeah, I like how everyth's in Ks, you know? They don't just say 200 damage or, you know, 850. It's like, no, 0.8K.
Yep. Yeah, that's
by like, I mean I don't like it. No. I'm not a big fan. I would like to see the full numbers. But anyway, we do have the Mountain Drake coming up here, and it does look like Griffin are really gearing up. At least they were for a little bit, and then they ran away. They were gearing up for it, and now they're going to give the position here to SEORABEOL to take it.
Yeah. These wards go down.
11.
Yeah, Cow is just gigantic. 2 levels ahead of Tarzan right now. As the blue buff does spawn, Wadid moves into the mid lane. Try and stop this one from giving away too much pressure to SEORABEOL Gaming, but they've started off this Mountain Drake. Now Griffin moving on in. Oh, apprehension, he does miss. As Carl can't get in between that pillar. That is fantastic work. But he flashes out of the way. Carl is buying a lot of time. So Nova probably going to fall as well. But has the damage been done? Because there is soul point for SEORABEOL Gaming. And they lose 2 for the cost.
Yeah, 2 for the Mountain Soul points. They don't have it yet, but they're going to be in an awesome position, as you mentioned, in about 4.5 minutes to take that down. You can see that Griffin immediately respond. They know they have to get more and more wins after losing the Drake. So they TP Yukal up top. They try to push mid. It doesn't work out, but at least they're going to get 2 kills and the turret, it looks like, in terms of that. They feed all of that over to Yukal as well, who is needing to get fed here. Hay and Viper are going to be the main carries of this comp.
Yep, absolutely. Already ahead by about 22 CS. And Sangin's going to pick up that wave. Let's have a look at this once again. The pillar was absolutely fantastic. Tal could not go anywhere.
Yeah, that's really all it was. They isolated one member while the rest of them were focusing on the Drake. And so 5v1 not very fair, as Tal soon figured out. But SEORABEOL, I think they had their priorities straight, right? They're like, okay, Tal, you go die. We're going to take the Dragon and begin to stack them up even farther, because if they can get to a late game with the Mountain Drake, that is going to be quite fantastic for what they do have.
I think they need to deny Mountain Drakes, any of them, from Griffin. It will make Sword very, very tanky. Not to mention the Trundle as well. The fact that I believe Mountain Drake also stacks with the extra resistances that you get from Subjugate as well. So just don't allow that one to happen.
Yeah,
the Trundle will be also very, very tanky.
They've got a tanky lineup in general, outside of the 2 carries. So it will be very beneficial to their front line if they do take down any of the Mountain Drakes. As will we see either of these teams being proactive before the Mountain Drake does spawn?
I'm not expecting it.
Yeah.
Crazier things have happened. Tal towards the bottom side of the map at the moment. Just with his Trinity Force in hand right now, we'll see what he decides to build alongside it. I think Death's Dance works pretty well on the Darius, so he's likely going to be looking towards something like that as item number 2. Unless it's just going to be Sterix, which is, of course, the old school preference.
We do have Morello's build here for Azir. Obviously, a lot of people going to be memeing that. I suppose it is good into Tal, but outside of that, I mean, I guess Olaf also. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think a different
Severum lifesteal
probably would have been better. Yeah, I suppose.
I was definitely being facetious. I don't think it's the time.
Yeah, whatever, Atlas.
See whether Songy can clear this minion wave in time. Nova just going to move right up to Griffin. Ducal tanking the turret for a moment. That is going to buy enough space here for SEORABEOL. Sword not able to take down that control ward. That will regen. And a minute and a half until the Mountain Drake that we were talking about. SEORABEOL might be looking towards the Baron right now, but not just yet. Wouldn't be time to trade either. I think that they do want to be fighting for this Mountain Soul, but they still have a bit of time to tidy things up.
Neither team having an awesome Baron comp. I think the Azir for Griffin with a fed MF is probably going to have a better shot. But yeah, looks like we're just going to chill. We're going to wait here for the Mountain Drake to spawn, and we should get the action going there. Obviously, tons of engage potential on the side of Griffin. If they can CC a Darius to death, if they can CC the backline to death, they have a lot of targets to do it, right? It's 3 out of the 5 that you would really just love to isolate and demolish quickly. If they can do that, Griffin has a pretty nice team fighting composition. But they got to make sure to somehow zone out the level 13 Olaf that has almost 200 CS at 22 minutes. Who's just going to be Ragnarocking into the Dragon and making it a 50-50, which I suppose it's not even a 50-50 because it's 2 levels above Tarzan right now. So good luck, Tarzan, I suppose.
Yep, Tarzan hasn't been finding the smites that he used to as Nova going to get pillared. Tarzan going to get slowed though, and he's going to be targeted here by the Glacial Fissure. Now that's on cooldown though. Another tool is going to go missing on SEORABEOL's side. No harm, no foul, however, as the Mountain Drake has just spawned. Sword will find himself in the brush. Apprehend, not going to work. We'll see whether SEORABEOL Gaming do lock down this Drake here. You can see Griffin do not want to let that one go. As another ram is going to be thrown. This time it's going to land on this Songyun. It is the Drake stolen away by Griffin. Fantastic news for them, and now the team fight working for them. So beautifully. Emperor's Divide onto a couple of members. A double kill there for the Misfortune. As now Tal's looking for Tarzan. It's a triple kill actually for MF. And Griffin moved to 7-1 and now should be able to take a Baron.
Yeah, pretty much just dunked him there. You can see that SEORABEOL was in a little bit of a bind as they really wanted to get in there and try to 50-50 the Drake. But the second that Kakao lost the smite, they weren't really able to disengage effectively. Sword actually did a really nice job to get over there. He was able to not get denied by the Apprehend, and he knocked up the Syndra, who could have potentially stunned the MF in the backline with a bullet time, as Nova just got ripped to shreds in that front line by that bullet time. Down will go the Baron, as there is no real pressure out of SEORABEOL. They're just going to let it go, as now they're down over 4,000 golds. Griffin really taking the lead after that last fight. We'll take a look here. As you can see, they started up, but this actually gets down because Sword collapsed tall. And the Syndra, or the Aphelios, I believe, wasn't really able to do much. As you take a look at that huge damage coming out from the MF. And the follow-up knockup from Sword was quite good. As yeah, just kind of a broken team fight for SEORABEOL that Griffin were able to take advantage of.
And also, this is an example of Griffin finding themselves the point of the game where they're actually able to fight back. So maybe an example of a Sinner composition not quite able to get to the advantages that they were looking for, because that really was their time to lock down the Mountain Soul and get themselves a win. But now as this game continues, especially with this Baron now ticking and allowing Griffin to move to even more map control, it's just going to be harder and harder for SEORABEOL to actually win team fights. And you can see 7-1 is the kill score. The fights have been well and truly in Griffin's favor regardless. So, difficult. We'll see whether Sangyun's going to be able to carry his team much like he has throughout the Challenger's career season, or whether this is once again going to be a slow and steady win for Griffin like how they've been able to find it in the past.
Yeah, they got both their carries sped that are now very fast scaling here, faster than you would expect at 26 minutes about. And with Molten Edge online and Azir looking at a sweet hat soon, I think this might just be all she wrote for this one. I don't think a Fed Olaf is really able to do much. I think with the Mountain Soul, had they kept their lead, there was a good chance that they could roll it into a victory, but after that fight, that just opened it up.
Well, that's just a bullet time, as Viper does cancel it a little bit early. Good unbreakable there from Nova, but it softened up Dan Chung a lot. And now Sword moves back towards the bottom side. The war of attrition certainly being won here by Griffin. This inner turret's going to fall. Sun turret has been set up. And there's even more money going into the Griffin coffers. 6,000 gold in the lead right now. Make that 7. Or a little bit more. As this inhibitor's going to go down. Sword throwing some pillars around, but it looks like SEORABEOL just with no idea what to do next.
Yeah, I mean, you get in this position where you have a bunch of sinners and you get behind. I think all they really have a hope of doing is getting in there 50-50ing the Baron, or the Dragon, taking Mountain Soul, and then I think Griffin need to make 1 or 2 more mistakes. Which, again, they haven't been super clean in the LCK, but I'm not sure that SEORABEOL is really going to be able to make those mistakes happen, given the way that we've seen this game go. We got 007 right now for Trundle. Secret Agent Tarzan, the assassination of the Drake.
And also 100% kill contribution as well. Tarzan certainly having a King of the Jungle performance this time around. And that is great to see. Of course, remember this is, you know, probably like 4 of their players on their iconic champions, right? On Griffin's side. Sword's on, Tarzan's Trundle. Even Yukal on the Azir certainly has been one that he's been playing a lot, and Viper's first played is by far and away the Misfortune. And we did, I mean, his Bard got banned, but he's still the best Nautilus to ever grace the world. Ever.
Yes, best ever.
Yeah.
Wadded in all caps.
I think he actually debuted Nautilus in League of Legends. He was the first person to ever play it. It's now Griffin looking for a team fight, but a fair bit of damage here from Sangyun. Viper having to flash very early in this fight. Now Kakao thinking about what he wants to do to try and get into the backline here. He does get pulled in as, in goes Tal. Looks for Viper, does have that dot ticking, and does go golden there on towards the backside. Dan Chung over the wall, but Tal will be taken down here most likely. Takes a long time as Wood did, throws that big old anchor into the back of his head, and will be able to lock that one up. Sangyun answers back though, as both top laners are dead. Could this be the SEORABEOL Gaming comeback? As the Mountain Drake should be taken. Tarzan in position, still behind in levels as there's Mountain Soul. Whether it's going to actually be enough as Woodid, of course, lands another hook, perfectly placed. onto Nova there as Tarzan going to move towards the side. Teleport needs to be used in order to get back because these backs needs to be stopped. Because, of course, Yukal and Viper are underneath these Nexus turrets trying to take them down. Sangyun, he got home, though, and he'll be fine. As the Vayne emotes coming through there from Wadid.
Yeah, his name is Kim Bae-in.
Ah, that's true.
Which is, a lot of people call him Vayne here in the Riot Korea offices. Because, of course, that's how you say Vayne in Korean. As we're just going to break this one down, and surprisingly, because of some really great mechanical outplays from the side of SEORABEOL, they were able to make something of this fight. Viper, that's not a good position, first of all. You can't ult right there when Tal's right over the wall. He identifies it and stops it. No Ornn ultimate. It's SEORABEOL going forward. Viper's too low to join the fight. So even though Tal goes down, great kill by Wadid. Sword is too far forward. He should have been backing off already. I suppose he expected Viper to come back in, but they have a lot of reach with the Olaf and the Syndra. So you can't exactly just run at them because you could get stunned from far away. You can get axed. You can even the Aphelios can long range snipe you down. So you got to be careful, and Viper, I think, did the right play, whereas the communication wasn't really there for Griffin. It leads to Sword dying, and then eventually, of course, because Tarzan was down on levels, he wasn't just going to flip, 25-75 coin at that point.
No.
But now this turns the game on its head once again, because Mountain Soul definitely going to be worth a lot in terms of gold, although I do think that Griffin still has the better scaling composition. But after the last fight, I feel like anything is possible, Atlas.
Not to mention the fact that the Mountain Soul is going to skew things just a little bit as well. SEORABEOL Gaming going to be able to dip in and out of fights a little bit better with that added buffer with the shield. As Tal does have a Gargoyle Stone Plate completed. Don't know why. Not a gigantic fan of that particular item onto Darius, but that's fine. I think at any point, if you're lowering your damage, you're not playing Darius correctly.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a lot of sustain within the fight, so if he can just survive for longer, I suppose.
Yeah, do you get the same amount of healing from your Decimate, regardless of the fact that it has its damage lowered? I'll have to figure that out. That might be a thing.
Not, right?
I don't know
Probably
whether
wouldn't get the.
I don't know whether it does damage based on how much damage. Sorry, heals
based on damage.
Heals based on damage or heals based on amount of targets.
I would
hit?
assume yes.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everything like that has a ratio.
Yeah, Nova just going to try and protect Sangyun here, but Tarzan goes golden, but the Ornhorn once again coming down, but it's in the opposite direction again and right into an Unbreakable. Precisely not where you want that one to go as Sword trying to get out of there, but it's a great ulti to come through from Yukal and from Viper. And that does get rid of the Darius for the moment, but so far it is a trade jungler for top laner. And still Griffin regain control of this bottom side river. Elder Drake not going to be spawning for another 2.5 minutes though. Oh, there's the face check, and Sword going to get taken down a bit lower. It's otherwise okay. Sangyun gets his Severum out. Back to his base weaponry from level 1.
They're going to consider Baron here. They're going to deny vision at least and maybe try to bait it. As you do see Wadid has to go for the face check. The stun is short, and Wadid with the perfect check.
Yeah, just amazing. That's exactly what you want.
Flawless.
Stunningly. Just gets straight back to exactly the maximum range for his dredge line to keep himself alive. And spots out exactly what SEORABEOL Gaming were doing. I think probably game-winning play from Wadid.
For sure.
On top of his other game-winning plays that he's already had.
So good at this game.
It's just extraordinary, really. As we've got backs being channeled. SEORABEOL Gaming still with a control ward here in the back. No, just a zombie ward. Back of the pit, though, is going to keep vision available until that control ward does go down. Sangyun with his full Severum shield is okay. Ornhorn once again coming in. Tal just walks out as far as he possibly can, and it flashes eventually. The Searing Charge does come through. Nova's going to be the sacrificial lamb, and it's the Misfortune's bullet time that does take him down. It should mean that this inhibitor is also going to follow, and now a whole bunch of extra pressure available for Griffin as they go for this next Baron.
Yeah, it looked a little bit silly in the beginning But if they can just isolate one person, they have unreal amounts of damage. With the giant hat on a 4-0-6 Molten Edge for MF, who also has a QSS and is 5-0-2. If they find anyone, they're going to blow them up. As we did see with Nova, even with this Unbreakable up, could not survive. And so that was the play. They knew, get one, and then you will get one free in terms of a Baron. See Tarzan, he goes a little bit too far forward here. You got to be careful because SEORABEOL do have a decent amount of CC on their side as well. But then I believe it's Tal gets caught right in the front, gets pushed away, and then bullet time to the face in order to take that kill. And you see here, Tal has to flash, and Nova, there needs to be a call by Tal saying, hey, I'm going to flash. But there was like a little bit of instinctual play there as he tried to take the bullet and ended up dying.
Oh, UCal over the wall, a bit of extra damage here. Oh my god, that MF damage is insane. A perfect depth charge out from Wadid, who has already single-handedly won this team fight. It goes thought into the backline. The Empress Divide wipes the floor with SEORABEOL Gaming, and Viper just comfortable, flashing forward for yet another triple kill. The ace comes in, and that's going to be the game for Griffin. Incredible debut by Wadid. Extraordinary performance on the day. And I don't know how he managed to get around to everyone's keyboards at the same time to win that team fight by himself, but he obviously didn't.
He didn't. Griffin Wadid, the main carry here for the GG as the Nexus goes down. And the Mountain Soul just not strong enough to stop the insane amount of damage and scaling that Griffin had within their composition. We were there at like 36 minutes or so to absolutely just dunk on him there in the late game. So nicely done by Griffin. Again, it wasn't super clean. Wasn't, you know, they had a bunch of hiccups within that game.
There was a very big Olaf.
Yes.
But unfortunately, a big Olaf doesn't necessarily win you games in late game team fights.
Imagine if that was Graves or like Karthus or
yeah, and imagine if Dan Chung was allowed to play League of Legends this game.
Yeah.
He was really absent in that mid lane. I don't think the Syndra really did anything at all. But, I mean, what are you supposed to do at the hands of Wadid, carrying all of that holy water around to make sure that all of these sinners get purged from this land? Absolutely fantastic play out of him. But all jokes aside, I think Griffin managed to get exactly the composition that they wanted. SEORABEOL Gaming needs to go back to the drawing board and try to remove some of the comfort that they allowed Griffin to have.
See Wadid, he is player, coach, caster.
Yeah, is there anything
European
that this man can't do?
Unbelievable. Spokesperson.
Probably skydiving instructor. Deep sea diver.
Yes.
Yeah. Resident of the ship. Perfect.
He probably has a Mensa.
Yeah.
What do you call it? He entered into Mensa.
Yep. Also has a Nobel Prize.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
For his Nautilus.
Yep.
His nautical studies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Improving nautical life around the world.
He's just a philanthropist. He likes to help Griffins when they're being threatened.
Yes. He probably has donated a lot to charity.
Yeah.
He's a very generous guy.
I mean, that's why he got the Nobel Prize.
Yes. But if we do take a look at some of the plays, I mean, he was doing a good job in the front line of zoning people out. MF, she was super fed. The AD carry difference was pretty big there, not because Songyun didn't have a great game. It just felt like he wasn't able to do anything, even though he did have a decent amount of farm himself.
Yeah.
It was like, it was comp and draft difference once the game got too late that SEORABEOL really weren't able to overcome.
Yeah, there was not really much that they could do. I mean, this was the team fight that they had the best chance possible, but it didn't really work out even after everything was said and done. It felt like Griffin had complete control over the outcome of this game. But certainly things can change in game number 2. I'm not sure whether I'm ready to write SEORABEOL Gaming off just yet. And up against Sandbox. I think it's likely that we're going to see them in the best of 5 if, in fact, Griffin are able to take down game number 2 as well.
You see the double up there to smack Song
So
in
much
the
damage.
face. It's like, oh, I guess you can't join this fight. I want to see this one, too. that wasn't even, like, the back part of the double up. That was just the front. He just got crit in the face. He's like, oh, yeah, remember me? I'm that fed Olaf. Look at all I'm doing in this game. La-di-da. Let me run away. Poor sinner Olaf.
Griffin IG fans right there.
Yeah.
Of course, certainly not the case. Although IG going to be playing in, I believe, the 3rd place match over in the LPL relatively soon. But 20,000 damage there from UCal, 16 for the MF. This is exactly how the damage graph is supposed to look. Apart from the fact that I think there's a bug. There's a 0 missing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did 22,000 damage. We'll get that one sorted out for you guys so that in the actual match history, we'll have the correct number for you, because obviously he did way more damage than that.
Regardless of what the numbers were, Wadid was the player of the game, of course.
Yeah, he's player of the next game as well.
Yeah.
Just by how good he was in this
game.
game.
3, even if it doesn't happen.
Yeah. That's already written down.
Ends the LCK.
Yeah. And there isn't even
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, look, player of the game doesn't exist for the promotion tournament.
Yeah.
However, we are giving our own player of the game. He was the player of the game for the Team Dynamics series and their 2-0 victory, and now he's looking for his back-to-back player of the games for this one. We'll see whether SEORABEOL Gaming can sort out their drafts or whether Griffin are once again going to cruise towards the victory like we saw in game number 1. We'll find out after the break.